All right, let's get into it. Today we're doing a deep dive on something a little different, something with a whole lot of twang.
Oh, yeah.
Upchurch, the song Neck to Red.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Where are we going with this?
Well, this song takes a word that some folks use as, well, not a very nice thing to say, and flips it completely on its head.
Redneck.
That's the one. But here, it's not about putting anyone down. It's about pride in where you come from, your roots, not following the crowd, just doing your own thing.
Sounds like there's a lot to unpack there.
Oh, absolutely. We've got the lyrics for Neck to Red right here, plus a whole breakdown of the song to really dig into what Upchurch is saying.
Excellent. So where do we start?
Well, there's this phrase, my neck's too red, that just keeps coming up throughout the song, like over and over.
Yeah, I noticed that when I gave it a listen. What do you think he's trying to do by really hammering on that phrase?
Well, it sounds almost like I don't know, a statement, almost like he's trying to be defiant.
Yeah, defiant's a good word for it. He's taking this term, this redneck label, something people use to put others down, to stereotype them, and he's making it into something strong, powerful even.
You're right. He's taking ownership of it.
Exactly. Instead of letting it be an insult, he's turning it into a badge of honor. And it gets even more interesting when you look at his background, which our outline lays out pretty clearly. He's from this small town in Tennessee, 90% white, the Highland Rim area. It's not just some vague country background. This is a very real, specific place, a specific culture, and that's shaped him.
So it's not just about being country in general. He's really grounding it in his own experience.
I think that's exactly right. And it brings this authenticity to the song. You know, it's not a put on. It's him drawing from his own life, making something real that people can connect with. And then he brings in the whole music industry aspect. He even says something about leaving marks on these music dudes.
Oh, yeah, that definitely jumped out at me, too. Kind of a tense vibe there.
Definitely sounds like there's been some friction, like he's had to fight for his place.
And then he gets into his upbringing, too. Talks about burnouts, being tatted up, even stuff like missing teeth and scars. That's pretty intense imagery.
Yeah, it is. But I don't think it's just for shock value. He's painting this picture of a really rough environment, not exactly the kind of image the music industry usually goes for.
Not glamorous at all.
Right. But instead of running from that, he's embracing it. He's basically saying, this is where I come from. This is who I am.
Powerful stuff. It sounds like he's really proud of those roots. But does he think he fits into the music scene?
That seems to be where the tension comes in. Because he says, quote, they said people like me don't trend. It's that feeling of not belonging, being shut out by the mainstream.
That classic outsider story. But there's that defiance again, isn't there? Like when he says, hold on, let me get the exact line. They can have to wait till I die. I done made it up too high. With this system, I won't comply. No rich folks can bribe me with rides. He's not giving an inch.
Absolutely not. He's found his own success, and he's not changing for anyone. Really bold statement.
Oh, and then there's that line about how the day he was born in Music City is the day mainstream got outlawed. I think he means that literally.
Not literally, no. It's what we call a hyperbole, you know, like an exaggeration to make a point. He's basically saying his style is the opposite of what you think of as typical Nashville country music.
A total rejection of the system.
Uh-huh.
And then he throws in this little detail about driving a rat rod as his everyday car.
Which honestly is a perfect touch, because think about what a rat rod is. Kind of rough, definitely unconventional, not about being pretty, it's about function.
Yeah.
And that's just like his music.
Yeah, it totally fits with rejecting all those mainstream trends.
It's a symbol of his individuality. Like, he doesn't care what other people think. He's doing his own thing.
Just like he says at the end, being up motherfucking church. Not changing for anyone.
True to himself, no matter what.
You know, it's really fascinating how he takes this word redneck that's often used as an insult, and he makes it into
celebration.
Exactly. A celebration of individuality, of being genuine. It goes way beyond just country music.
Yeah, it really makes you think, how many artists out there really go against what everyone expects, you know, just to be true to themselves? Is there a price for doing things your own way like that?
That's a good question. And I think Neck to Red gives us some hints. Remember all that imagery we were talking about before? The burnouts, missing teeth, even that line about a blowtorch upbringing. Doesn't exactly scream glamour, does it?
Nope, not really. And I think that's what makes it so interesting, so powerful. He's not trying to hide his past or make it all shiny and perfect for the mainstream folks.
So it's not just there to shock people. It actually has a deeper meaning.
Exactly. It's showing us this world that's totally different from, the fancy Nashville scene, a place where it's about working hard, being tough, never giving up, all that grit, that's what matters. And it's all shaped him as an artist.
So, neck too red. It's almost like a statement about where he's from, both physically and in terms of his culture.
Exactly. It's about owning that identity, that heritage. He's not letting anyone else define it for him. And it's interesting because even within country music itself, there's like a hierarchy, right? You've got that polished, mainstream Nashville sound.
Right.
And then there's the more rebellious outlaw side.
Yeah, more like Waylon Jennings or Johnny Cash back in the day. They didn't play by the rules, but they made amazing music.
Right. And I think that's what draws people to Upchurch. He seems real, someone who speaks his mind, doesn't care about rocking the boat a little.
And you definitely see that in how he talks about the industry. Like that line that said, "People like me don't trend," said, "My slang won't ever get aired." It's almost like he enjoys proving them wrong.
You can hear that satisfaction in his voice, like he's saying, "See, I did it anyway." And then later on, he really drives that point home, doesn't he?
When he says, "They got to wait till I die. I done made it up too high."
That's the one! Such a bold statement. He's basically saying, I made it here on my own terms, and I don't owe anyone anything.
And then that whole thing about Music City becoming outlawed the day he was born, it's like he's turning things upside down. He's the outsider, but somehow the mainstream is the one that's out of touch.
It's really clever how he uses language to do that. This place that's supposed to be the center of country music becomes a symbol of everything he's against.
Really makes you think about who decides what's in and what's out,
Right?
Who gets to say what real country music is?
Those are some important questions. And I think Upchurch is making us face them head on. He's not asking permission to be himself. He's demanding it.
It's also interesting how he talks about the tough times alongside his success now. Like, he's not embarrassed about where he came from, but he's not stuck there either.
Yeah, it's not about pretending being poor is romantic or anything. It's about acknowledging those roots, but using them to push yourself forward.
Like he's saying, I came from nothing, built something for myself, so can you.
It's a message of empowerment. And that's a big part of why Neck Too Red hits so hard. It's not just about going against the grain, it's about believing in yourself, even when everyone else doubts you.
It's about proving you don't have to change who you are to make it. You can stay true to your roots and still reach your goals.
Absolutely. That's a message that resonates with so many people, especially nowadays when everyone's telling you to fit in. It's funny, we started by talking about redneck as a negative word.
But Upchurch has completely changed the meaning.
Turned it into a badge of honor, a symbol of being real, of never giving up.
And now he's speaking for a whole group of people who often get ignored or looked down on.
He's created a place for them to be proud of who they are, where they come from, what they believe in.
All done on his own terms, never compromising his art or his vision.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
It really is. It makes you think about what it takes to reach that level of success, that kind of independence and authenticity, especially in an industry that's all about following the rules and making money.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But when you look at Upchurch, I think there are a few things that stand out. For one, the guy is just plain talented. He's got a knack for writing these catchy lyrics, hooks that stick in your head, and he blends genres in a way that feels new, exciting.
So it's not just about being different. The music itself has to be good.
Exactly. You got to have the skills to back it up, and Upchurch does. But it's more than that. He's also built this really strong connection with his fans. He's active online, talks to them directly, makes them feel like they're part of something bigger.
It's like that community we were talking about. More than just music. It's a whole way of life.
Right. It's a movement, people who relate to his values, his whole neck too red attitude. And that loyalty is huge. It means they'll stick with him, even when the mainstream tries to shut him out.
Which brings us to that third point, that commitment to being real, to his vision. He doesn't hold back, even if it pisses people off.
He's not going to change his message or his art just to please the industry.
He's 100% himself, no matter what. And people respect that. Makes him believable, someone you can relate to. And that's what leads to success, on his own terms.
Absolutely. And, even the way he uses language is interesting. It's raw, but almost poetic sometimes. Like when he talks about growing up on a blowtorch instead of knowing a Scots torch. It's this contrast between his world and the world of these fancy music producers.
Yeah, it's not just wordplay. It says a lot about where he came from, the struggles he's faced.
Shows that he didn't have it easy. He had to hustle, make his own breaks, and then he throws in those details about the Highland Rim, case of beer, and some race cars. It's like a glimpse into a whole way of life that gets overlooked, even made fun of sometimes.
But he's not ashamed of it. He's celebrating it.
Like he's saying, this is my home and I'm proud of it. That's a strong message, especially for young people trying to figure things out.
Yeah. You don't have to follow someone else's path to be successful or happy. You can make your own rules, find your own way. Upchurch proves that.
He's proof that hard work and staying true to yourself really pay off.
It's pretty inspiring. We started by talking about redneck as a negative term, but Upchurch has turned it into something completely different.
Yeah, it's a badge of honor now. Represents being real, standing strong.
He's speaking for a whole group of people who often don't have a voice. So, Neck to Red, it's more than just a song.
It's a statement.
Exactly. About being true to yourself, even when it's tough. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into Neck to Red. Hope you all got a better sense of what Upchurch is all about, his music, his message.
It's a powerful story.
And I hope it's got you thinking about your own life, Do you go with the flow, or do you forge your own path?
At the end of the day, your neck might be too red for some, but it's perfect for you. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep being yourself.